Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. So today we have our first guest here on the channel, which is Brian Jung. Brian's a good friend of mine. He has a YouTube channel. Talks a lot about credit cards, stimulus, about 150,000 subscribers. So I thought I'd bring him on here to just sort of discuss a number of different things, kind of how you grow your channel, but also just kind of your story a little bit and kind of see where we can go with it. And I don't think you normally wear that mask every day, or is that like your everyday look?
No, I just found this in Nate's bag, so I thought I'd just throw it on.
Yeah. Well, I was at the bank yesterday, so it was,
That makes a lot of sense, bro.
yeah.
Yeah. I am honored to be on Nate's show as the first guest. So this is like a very honorable experience out here. But yeah, man, I just happy to be here. Anyways, bro, let's so how did we meet, man?
I think it was FinCon. I remember this actually because so FinCon's like this big financial conference, and Ryan Scribner like called me and said, "Hey Nate, are you coming to FinCon?" I was like, "What the hell's FinCon?" This was last year. This is fall of 2019,
Yeah.
and it was like the day before FinCon happened
Yeah.
in DC, but I live in Philly.
Yeah.
So he said, "Come to FinCon. It's a big financial conference." Didn't know what it was. Just took the train down randomly, and then I showed up. And Robinhood had a massive party on top of the Smithsonian, and it was like a big event. There were huge people
Wait,
there.
was that your first day pulling up?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
like,
shoot, I didn't know that.
I showed up that night, and the first person I met, it was accidental. I was trying to get in. You had to have like the passes or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
and I didn't have one because I showed up like late or
Yeah.
whatever. And then me and the guy from the Penny Hoarder, like the founder of the Penny Hoarder,
shoot.
I didn't know him, but we didn't have our passes and we were trying to get in.
Yeah.
And this guy's making like 50 million a year or something like from the Penny Hoarder, something ridiculous. But I had no idea because he's a blogger, like all these
Yeah.
finance bloggers.
Yeah.
And then I got in, and then we met, and then everybody else was there. Graham Stephan was there, Meet Kevin, right?
Yeah.
I mean, all the finance YouTubers were there.
Yeah.
But that was fun, wasn't it? FinCon.
Dude, that party was epic, man.
Yeah.
This was so I live close to DC. I live 20, 30 minutes away. I heard about FinCon because of Sebi and like a few others, and they're like, yeah, just pull through. But yeah, for me, I didn't have any trouble getting in with him. That's all I'm gonna say. And I had a good time there.
You don't want to expose yourself on that, I don't think so. Just, you
Yeah,
didn't have any trouble getting in.
I had no trouble getting in, man. I had my camera too. I know Dave Hansen, he got kicked out of there for his camera. They
Really?
wouldn't let him in. I saw his vlog. They're like, gave him a hard time. And I had my setup on me and I was vlogging everything.
Yeah, didn't you have your friend with you, and you said like he's my cameraman?
Yeah, dude.
right?
Like they gave us no trouble, and it was like legit, like Smithsonian. Like we're talking like
Metal
Nicolas,
detectors,
yeah,
yeah.
Nicolas Cage, Night at the Museum, or whatever that. I don't know if he was in that, but yeah, it was like legit. Like you had to get patted down, and it was like the whole entire building, like the rooftop to like every
Yeah.
floor they had. But yeah, man, that was a good time, man. There were a lot of people there, and that's when that's when I think I first met you that night. And then I met Apple, and then I met like all the guys now that we're friends with. But that was an interesting night because that was the first time, because I had like, I think maybe 20, 30,000 subscribers. That was the first time in my life like actually getting recognized like publicly like that.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It is weird, right? Like when you're walking down the street and somebody just comes up to you and they're like, "Brian, I love your videos," and you're trying. So when this happens to YouTubers at first, like you're like, "Okay, did I go to school with this person?" Like, and then after a while, probably like the 10th time, you're just used to it. You're like, "Oh yeah, you found me on YouTube,"
Yeah,
right?
dude, at FinCon or at the Smithsonian that night, it was funny because since I was like so low key and nobody really knew me, this guy was just like looking at me, and I could tell I had eyeballs on me, and he was just like, "I know you from somewhere," and I was like, "I don't think so." And I didn't take into consideration he watched any of my videos, but he was like, "No, I know you from somewhere," and he was just like after like 5 minutes of looking at me, he's like, "Dude, I think I got an American Express gold card because of you." And I was like, "Oh yeah, really?" He's like, "Yeah, man, I feel like you look familiar," but I wasn't as big as you, where they like knew instantly like that's the guy. They had to piece together like credit card, Asian guy, like this has to be Brian Jung.
Do you get recognized in public at all? Like if you're on a train or just walking down the street somewhere?
Now I do, which is surprising because I like if I'm at the gym, I usually have like my hoodie, my hat, my mask on, so you literally just see my eyes. But even at the gym, dude, I had like it's always credit card stuff. Like people won't find me, like will very rarely find me for like any like personal finance business material. But like I had this one random Chinese kid like come up to me and he was just like, "I got the platinum because of you." And I was like, I was gonna say, yo, that like let's talk. Like, yeah, do you enjoy the card? But he just like walked away, like ran off.
Yeah.
Like I've had some weird people come up to me like that, but to me, I enjoy it. Like I'd rather have the conversation because it's like a new connection. So I feel like over this past year, like after I hit like the 100K subscriber growth mark, like I've been recognized a lot more in my area, because especially in like the DMV, the Maryland area, there aren't too many creators like this. Like it's not LA or anything. It's like I built a little bit of a community around my area where people will know like I go to this gym, or like I shop here, and then like they'll just be like, "What's up?"
Yeah, I kind of feel the same with Philly. There's really like no other creators in Philly.
Dude, you got free Chipotle. Remember that?
Yeah, that was in LA though, because
Oh,
yeah, but yeah, so like in Philly, I'm kind of like there's not that many other influencers, which kind of does suck too, because you can't like meet with them and collaborate with them in your city. Like if you want to collaborate with other YouTubers, you have to go to LA or
exactly.
something, and maybe New York.
Exactly.
But it also is kind of nice to be like you kind of have a decent amount of pull or like influence over a certain city. So like if somebody in your city wants to sponsor you, you're kind of like the go-to a little bit, right?
Yeah. I think there's advantages and disadvantages of that. I personally think it's advantageous for people like us, because I'd rather make like my name in an area and like bring the community together than to like start where it's already happening or things like that. But yeah, man, I see it as a benefit. I personally enjoy it. I know you're like low key about it.
Well, it does get a little bit weird when I mean, I was in New York like a few weeks ago, and it's definitely like cool getting recognized.
How many times you get recognized in New York?
I don't know. It was like 5 or 6 times in one day, and it was and this is with a mask on too.
Yeah.
So like
not this
no
one,
no
right? Not
no
this
not
one?
that one.
Your Weeble
Yeah,
mask?
yeah.
This
The
guy
Weeble
has
mask.
one mask, and it's like the Weeble mask. I'm gonna give him some masks.
I need some masks. Yeah.
Send it to his PO box or something.
I do have a mailing address. Maybe I'll include it down below.
He needs some masks. He's so minimal. That's actually so funny about Nate. He's so minimal that he literally like.
I have one mask.
It's everything.
Yeah.
Bro, you need more masks, dog.
I know. But no, what I was saying though is that I feel like it gets weird once you reach a certain level. For example, I wouldn't. It's nice to have a certain level of being known, but I think if you get to say 10 million subscribers or 20 million subscribers, or like Leonardo DiCaprio or something, you almost can't live a normal life.
Yeah.
And I feel like eventually there starts to get to a point of fame, I guess we could say, where it's almost like downside versus upside.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that? Or do you think it's just all up? Like,
I mean, to me, like I agree with that, because there are days where I'm like not in the best mood, and I don't want to like if a fan comes up, I don't want to be like giving them bad energy or thinking I don't like them or something. And like there are days where I want to be left alone. Like there are days where I'm not having the best day. I just want to go to the gym, like put my headphones in and not talk to people. But I can see that being the downside, but I also like the upside so much. I think that's just like my...
yeah. I see sometimes when like fans will get really mad because their favorite celebrity didn't take a picture with them or something, and then they try to cancel them online, and like this celebrity was mean to me. But I honestly have to say that I used to think like the fan was like, oh, what the hell, like that's a jerk, like they didn't sign autographs and take pictures with all their fans. And then I now have to side with the celebrity, where you start to understand that like, imagine having everywhere you go to the grocery store and you have a line of people who are just like Brian, like you're just like, please, I just want to, right? Like you just want to live. It's a dumb problem to have. It's a good problem to have of being too popular or something.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to get to that level.
I see.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I don't know, man. I feel like I could deal with it, but I haven't experienced it to that level yet, so I just may not know. You know,
Yeah,
like I may just be very, just like, just don't know about it.
What's the big plans for 2021? You have a big thing you're doing, because your channel is 150,000 subscribers, right? Are you gonna try to, you have like a subscriber goal, a revenue goal, or are you just kind of having fun with it?
Yeah, man. I mean, let's start. So 2021, definitely. Okay, you've definitely inspired me a lot this past year in terms of like shooting higher in goals.
Okay.
Right? You had that video like talking about how you want to make over $1 million. So that's your goal for 2021. One of my goals originally for me, it was $500,000 next year. And I think that was like a very reasonable goal to shoot for, because with the way YouTube works and how exponential growth is, I thought that would just make sense for the trajectory I had. But after talking to you and you just like being like, yo, like you can shoot higher, you can be more ambitious about these things. For me now, I mean, I've told you like $1 million is the goal. Realistically, in my situation, if I work hard enough, I think 750K is something that will happen. But even if I get anything under that and it's still 500,000, that's like absolutely crazy in my world. But with the growth that I've seen this past year and seeing like how much income like creators like us can make, I know that it's very, very achievable. So
Yeah, that's so not to sound like Grant Cardone here, but I do think that in terms of YouTube businesses related to that, I think it's possible to do 10x growth multiple years in a row, and that's kind of at least in terms of revenue, that's kind of what I've done in the past 3 years, and you've probably done that too, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
if you had like 13,000 subscribers and then you went
It's been
to 130,
exponential.
yeah. But then also setting goals, I always say that too, which actually is another thing I got from Grant Cardone, which I'm not a big fan of him because we don't go down that rabbit hole. But he had a couple of good points, and one of them is like, for example, if you set a goal, a revenue goal, so you want to make $250,000 in 2021, well, what's the like best case scenario? I guess you hit the $250,000 goal. But what if you set it to $1 million goal, and then if you miss the $1 million goal, you still made 750 grand, right?
Exactly.
So you'd rather miss a big goal than hit a small goal, and like you still end up at like a net positive. What I was gonna say though is that one of my favorite, I think it was Bill Gates who said this, but something about how people overestimate how much they can accomplish in a day or a week, but they totally underestimate what they can accomplish in a year or a lifetime. So I do think that setting goals pretty high is always important. But everybody has something different that kind of floats their boat. Like some people don't really have that sort of hunger for like just continuous like kind of growing and stuff. And some people are happy with just being who they are and settling, and that's totally okay. You have any thoughts on that?
I know both types of people, man. Like I've grown up with the ones that just don't have any goals and say they want to, and I've grown up with people who have all the goals but just don't end up doing anything. The fine medium, I think, is always just going to come down to realistic action takers, if that even makes sense. People who actually do the things that they want to do. And if they don't meet it, it's whatever, man. Like it's straight. But when it comes down to it, if you're going to shoot for the goals that you set for yourself, just do it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Just do it.
I don't even want to go down any further, but
I got you.
Yeah, just do it, man.
Yeah. Do you ever feel though? So I had this thought the other day, but do you feel like sort of society sort of pushes us to say that you need to set goals, you need to shoot for the moon, and if you're not absolutely crushing it, then you're a loser. And I started to notice this a lot in the past couple of months though, that sort of I feel like there's just this massive pressure on everybody where it's like if you're not a millionaire by 25, if you're not crushing it, if you're not making six figures, you're not working at Apple and Facebook or something, then you're losing. And then I feel like it starts getting in people's head because some people genuinely just don't like, they just want to live a normal life and they don't want to have those crazy success like stuff going on. But I feel like it's really bad in our society right now. You see what I'm saying with that?
Yeah, I do, man. I mean, I feel like it's what makes you happy, right? I feel like it goes to more of like a philosophical like question. It's like, what do you find happiness out of?
That's a deep, that goes pretty deep.
Yeah, because some people are just happy with like not much. Like I feel like you're one of those guys. Like this man drives a Volvo. He makes more money than most of us, and like my car is like 10, not 10x, but maybe.
Well, how much was your car?
It was like 40. No, it was not 40. It was like 50 something. 50,
oh yeah, that's like I saw 15 or 16 times
15,
the price of my car.
Yeah, bro, but like to me, like I love cars. I love driving. I love hearing the pa, but if you don't like doing that, like you'd be okay with not setting those high goals. Like you don't need a high financial status or anything.
Yeah. I don't really have. The only reason why I like making money and kind of growing businesses is just because of that growth aspect, and that's what makes me happy. I don't know if you've ever analyzed, like if you've broken down what makes you happy. I've tried to do this. It's really hard to like self-analyze. But I've tried to do it, and that was mine. Is like I always need to be working on some big thing, right? And if you're not, then I almost feel like I'm not moving anywhere. And there's that saying that like if you're not growing, you're dying.
That's exactly how I feel. I think that's what we have in common with like a lot of YouTubers or like business owners. It might be like people who, I feel like it comes down to like masculine like energy as well too. Like people who are like very just like manly in the way you think. And I don't even want to like go and like touch in like the red pill stuff. But I feel like men are in an essence made to build things. Like you have to be working towards something. It could be something as simple as like video games. I feel like this is why everyone likes playing like Call of Duty or like leveling up in other things.
Leveling up on
Because
something.
you are consuming information where you're able to level up in different things. It can be like puzzles, it can be games, it can be financial status. But when you're building and working towards something, that's when you truly, for me at least, that's when I truly feel like yeah, I'm like living my life. You know, there are other times though where I'd rather just chill. Like I'd take a vacation, like I'd rather take some time off. But looking back in my life, like the best I felt was the times where I was like super productive or like high energy or like just working on something.
Yeah, and I totally understand that. And also having some type, and this kind of ties in with it, but having some type of purpose almost.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, that goes in with the goal stuff. But I was looking at my parents, for example, who were very happy, but I moved out of the house a couple years ago, and my siblings moved out. My sister just moved out. So my parents spent the past 20 years like, raising all of their children, right? Like that was their primary purpose in life. Is like we need to take care of our kids, make sure they go to school, make sure they get good
Yeah.
grades, and then go off to college. And then all of a sudden, it's they almost feel like now suddenly they're not needed for that because
Yeah.
we moved on, right?
Yeah.
Like we grew up, we don't need them
Purpose
to
has
feed us.
been.
Yeah, so they're in sort of this weird feeling, and I think there's actually a term for it, it's like empty nesters or something.
Yeah.
They're sort of in this weird feeling where they're retiring and they now don't have to take care of their kids, so they're kind of saying, what's our thing now?
Yeah.
Like, what do we, and so they're trying, like, they're very happy, but they're definitely, it's that question that
Yeah.
goes in your brain.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I think that's what pushes like a lot of, I would say, immigrants or people who don't have that much financial wealth when they first moved to the US. My parents, for example, they worked really hard, and I can't imagine like any normal person like being able to do that for like years upon years upon years. But then you realize like they're doing it because they have a passion, like they want to help their children.
Exactly.
That's like an innate, like one of the OG things that'll drive people to be able to work harder than ever before.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's definitely like a struggle in life, man.
Okay, so what do you think about the economy going forward in 2021? You have any big predictions, stock predictions? Where do you think we're going to be, and kind of, do you think we're in a bad position right now?
Okay. Actually, this is really good.
It's a loaded question.
No, yeah, this is good because I think we have opposite mindsets on like how we invest or like what, like different things are going to happen. Like as an example, remember Nate, I'm like all about Tesla now because, so like I told him like I want to do like a majority of my portfolio is Tesla within the next few years, but I remember you telling me like just stay diversified, like stay like safer with it.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, that's the question of diversification with investing. It's there's a big push for everybody to do like this 7% per year index funds, VU, or do you go sort of the Bill Ackman style and just go all in on certain companies? And so what's your strategy with that?
I mean, okay, when it comes down to it, I hate losing money that I made, right? I think that's like one of the worst feelings I can have, just taking an L in something.
Yeah.
That's to me. If I've made this much or like whatever I have throughout this past year, the last thing I want to do is lose it in the stock market. And even though I know that, I would still consider myself like a high risk, high reward type investor. Like I'd rather just throw one dice on a particular stock and just let that ride. I think it's going to be Tesla.
Yeah.
And that's just what I'm trying to shift into.
It's hard to tell now because people have been saying that Tesla's overvalued for the entire lifetime of the company. The market cap's at like $600 billion, so we'll see how this video ages. But I almost get the feeling that it's like Amazon 1999, where it's a great company, but it might be a little, like if you look at Amazon stock in the late 90s, it boomed, it was booming. Jeff Bezos' net worth was like, tens of billions of dollars.
Yeah.
And then it came crashing down, and then it had the revival. Like it was still long term a great company.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, your good point that I remember you telling me was like when I was trying to get into Tesla, you're like, imagine what happens if like Elon like messes up big or like something like that.
Yeah, that's what happened with one of my biggest positions was Facebook, and there was the big Cambridge Analytica scandal, and I don't remember how much they dropped. It was probably like 20% the stock drop or something. But it's one of those things where if you go too hard into one company, and then suddenly something can happen. Like say you're full 100% of your portfolio is in Papa John's pizza a couple years ago, and then Papa John's out there just saying all kinds of slurs and words and stuff, and then and the next thing you know, like your stock is worth nothing because your CEO just so And that's what I was saying about like Facebook with that scandal. So you never know. There's things that are way out of your control that Elon Musk could come out tomorrow that he has some type of massive, big like Jeffrey Epstein thing going on or something, and then next thing you know, it's
you
done.
never know. Like, do you remember the Subway one, bro?
Jared from Subway.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you just never know with these like something could always happen. Like, you could always just bring up some dirt.
Yeah, that's why I love investing into my own ventures and my own business stuff.
Yeah,
right.
That's I think what we all started to realize, like with our group. It's like you have more power. Like when you have just a little bit of influence in these things, and it's not just totally up to the company. I feel, in a way, I feel more safe. Like I feel a little bit more secure, even though it may not be like like the wisest investment, but. Yeah, when you have like a little bit of control with the things that you have influence over, man, I feel like that can carry over in security and how you feel.
And even if it's something like we've both made a couple of angel investments, right?
Yeah.
And so even though we're not anywhere near like lead investors or even have part in the company, because we still have we're relatively small angel investors in some of these companies, we still know the people who run the company. We still have connects to the CEO, so we can still voice our opinion much easier as compared to, say, if you invest into Tesla stock. It's not like you can call up Elon Musk, right? Or you can't even contact him in any way.
Yeah, dude.
What about those angel investments? We have Yotta, right? And then I don't think we can talk about the other one.
The thing is, like that investment was not big enough for me where it made any type of like actual difference. And I use Yotta every day, and it's like, my big justification is I don't want to ruin it for anyone else. And like I'm still in my beginner stage. I think we're like, how old are you again too?
22.
22.
You're
I'm
23.
23. Yeah. It's like compared to like most of the guys like that were part of the seed, we're talking about like 30 years, like 35. Other than Scribby, like we're pretty much the young guys. And I just have this feeling because I'm younger, like I'm the guy that may like mess it up because I don't have like the backing or something. So I just wanted to be like low key about that.
Yeah. So you are an investor in Yotta.
Yeah. Well,
for the record, he's an investor in Yotta. So if you guys don't know what Yotta is, it's basically it's a savings, it's a bank account, and instead of like traditional getting like interest on that bank account, they sort of gamified it in a way.
Yeah.
It sounds weird when you first hear about it.
It sounds like a scam. It literally sounds like a scam, but you just have to realize, like, instead of buying lottery tickets, you literally put money into a savings account and they just give you free money.
That doesn't make it sound any better.
Does that not?
The way you described it does not sound any better. You just said they give you free money. No, basically, instead of giving you an interest rate of, say, 1% interest on your bank account, right? Instead of giving you a flat interest rate, they give you lottery tickets which decide the interest rate that you get. So you can't lose money. It's FDIC insured, and it's also the founder is Adam Moss, who's like his dad runs like he's like a billionaire or something.
Yeah, CEO status, man.
Yeah, but it's. I'm trying to explain this in a good way.
Just
here.
watch one of our videos.
We'll leave a link to it.
Yeah,
we'll leave a link to it down below.
Videos.
Watch one of our videos about it. FDIC insured is the most important part to drive across.
6.9% APY.
Not always 6.9. Is
that
what you're averaging? Because
it's a troll.
My average APY and that's like 2% or something.
Oh, dude, mine's funny because I deposited like $100 or $200 in there, and I got all my referrals. It says I have a 20,000% APY.
Whoa,
so
that's crazy.
Because like I have $1,200 in there, and from like all the signups, I think I made like $1,000 from that. So,
really?
Yeah. So it says I have a 20,000% interest rate.
Wow, that's crazy. But yeah, so we will leave a link to that down below, by the way. You can use coupon code Nate, or what's your coupon code?
Guys, just be smart. I don't make as much money as Jung 20. I think it's Jung. Whatever it is, Jung. It's Jung, not Jung 20.
Nate is a lot easier to just use the coupon code.
Jung. It's such an easy. You can't misspell it.
So using coupon code Nate will give you 100 free tickets. For
just use my Ebates. If you do that, use my Ebates. $20 free money.
Should we just plug all of our stuff here now?
Credit cards too. Top 10, Brian Jung.
No, but what we were saying about angel investments is it's
interesting, dude.
We've been getting into them.
It's interesting.
And I think the most fascinating part about it though is influencers partnering with these startups to really almost boost so much of this growth for these startups, which we can't talk about like what happened with Yotta.
Yeah.
But it's so genius, and I saw a couple people doing this, like Night Media. I saw did like
with Mr. Beast.
Yeah, like they do VC deals. I was listening to some podcasts that they were on.
Yeah. The TikTokers. Bro.
Yeah, the TikTokers. So basically, influencers now are getting equity instead of a regular. So sometimes this happens to me where a brand will reach out and they'll say, hey, like we'll give you, X amount of dollars for sponsorship, and instead you can flip it around now and say, hey, you know what? Instead of the cash up front, how about you give me equity instead? Like you give me a part of the company.
Yeah.
And it gives you so much more reason to really promote them even more, right?
Yeah, and it works both ways because the issue with all these brand new companies is that they don't have that cash flow. Like if we look at the burn rate with some of these businesses on like the weekly emails, like we notice that, dude, they're not in a situation where they can be paying out like hundreds of thousands of dollars to people like us. If they did like the regular affiliate program that we get from like Robinhood or other like commission brokerages, bro, we might have put them out, like we could have bankrupted them. At least Graham could have bankrupted them.
Graham could bankrupt a lot of companies, yeah, with his affiliate programs.
Yeah, so if they had to pay him up like the charge rate for each sign up that he got, imagine like as a startup you can't handle that.
Yeah, you can't just shell out millions of dollars in affiliates because you don't like that's all your VC money right there.
So the big downside for us is if the company doesn't do well, our investment's gone. We have to invest our money in order to get that equity like activated. So it's a gamble, and from experienced angel investors that we're working with, they're telling us like the success rate is very low.
Yeah, for it to actually come to fruition, because it's something that gets like with an angel investment, investing into a startup, you're probably not going to see any money from that for at least a couple of years, because it's either going to start to slow down and the company's just kind of poof, like an asteroid coming into Earth and just like kind of hits the ozone layer and it just it's done. Or it gets bought out by another company, or it IPOs, which would be pretty amazing.
That would be the best for our situation.
Yeah.
But we are getting more deals lately, which is good. I think the issue with this is when they see people like who aren't putting that much money, it makes other people, like other creators, like those smaller YouTubers, like, yo, well, how can I get in on this deal? Like they'll start messaging like the lead on it, and like everyone starts spamming because they think this is like open to the public. But I think this is the importance of like networking or like opening up your circle.
Totally.
If we never met, if we never got connected, or if I never like started to email back like Sebi or like other people in my field, and I just like stayed like the quiet like snail and just did my content, none of this would have opened up. So that's actually something that I used to struggle a lot with when I first started my business and like e-com and everything. I hated like working with other people or like networking or involving myself. I think it was like an ego thing too. But it opens up your doors a lot when you're open to like talking to people, even if they don't have as much subs as you or anything. Like we just got connected with the TikTokers too in the finance world. You can learn a lot from people, bro.
Yeah, everybody eats. That's one of my favorite sayings, that it's not a zero-sum game, especially with influencers and social media. Everybody wins. So, exactly. I mean, I think that's something we realized a couple years ago, just reaching out to as many people as you want or as you can. And when people reach out to you, like if it looks like you can both provide each other some value, then you make the connection. Like you said, we just made the connections with a lot of the finance TikTokers. And that goes back to the idea of your network is your net worth.
Yeah, dude. I mean, really I'm happy that I was able to become friends with you, Marco, and Ryan. Because, dude, I was a freaking loser back then. I had like 15,000 subs. Like I was not making like nearly good enough content back then too. So I was like surprised to even be like I always feel like I'm like the wolf, bro. Like getting in on this. Like I feel lucky to be here.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. And it really is, it's just who you discover and who you can connect with. So Ryan Scribner, who's a good friend of ours, he makes a ton of money. But he was one of the first finance YouTubers. And I remember he had like 300, 400 subscribers, and I reached out to him, and we've been talking for years. So like we bounce ideas off of each other. I know we bounce ideas off of each other. We say, hey, is this a good video idea, or should I do this, or should I not invest into that? And we just bouncing ideas off of everybody. Whether you're trying to grow YouTube channels, you're trying to invest, like just when in doubt, bounce ideas off people and see what they come back with, and you're gonna get some really honest feedback.
Yeah. The thing I like about Ryan is he helps regardless if he knows that they can help him back.
Yeah.
Like I don't think
he's just a good guy.
Yeah, I don't think he like we're in his house right now. Like I'm sleeping in his office. He like blew up this air mattress and had all the bed set out for me. So what I realized is there's actually a lot of good people in this space as well too. Because in life, I think it's hard to find that type of people because everyone always has their own like their selfish things. Like they want to get things done. But what I've realized from you guys is like it's a very give take situation. Like you guys give a lot, and the take is just as equal, or maybe not as much as that either.
It just goes around, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had people reach out to me, like one of my managers, who helps me get a lot of deals, and he'll just hop on calls with me and just help me strategize, and he doesn't take any fee or anything. We'll just talk business, and he says, don't worry about it. I'm just providing free value, and
that's where I think the secret lies in
yeah.
success right now. So like there's so many companies that will reach out, or freelancers that'll reach out to like edit my videos or like set my blog up for me, but oftentimes they just want money up front. All the ones that I've actually taken seriously over the years are ones that are just like, yo, can I just like edit for you for free? You can see if you like it, you don't have to pay me. And that makes me want to pay them. Because we're not in a situation where like we're so frugal, we're so stingy where we don't want to compensate for people. Like even my first like thumbnail guy, whenever he did the work for me, he told me, Brian, you don't have to pay me. Like I just want to do this. Like I just want to help you. I want to get experience. And I was like, no, dude, like send me your Venmo. Like I'm paying you, dude. Mm-hmm. So it's like people are so fed up right now with like trying to get paid and like so spoiled and like, oh, I'm worth this. Like this marketing agency, they need to charge me like $2,000 a month. It's like, bro, just do the work for free. This is what I did to start everything. Do everything for free, provide the value, and then the money will come.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That goes into the idea of reciprocation, the law of reciprocation. I've actually read a couple of books about this, and you don't want to do this in like a weird, like sociopathic way where you're like purposefully like, but like as long as you understand that rule, it can definitely not only help others, but it does come back. Good karma, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. It definitely does come back. I was reading a book where I think it was called Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion.
Yeah.
Have you read that book?
I have not.
So they talked about how I think the author would, when they would go onto a plane, they would give like the flight attendant like a pack of M&Ms or something. Like a little tiny like kind gesture.
Yeah.
And then if there was an open seat, like they would just happen to like the flight attendant be like, oh, this really nice person who gave me some candy bars or something. Yeah. So then they go up to you and say, hey, we have an empty seat in first class or whatever. So it was like this little reciprocation thing that it was so subtle, but it's a really, really kind of cool thing if you can understand how it works.
Is that related to like how to win friends and influence people? Like,
I don't think it was, I don't think they talked about that in that book.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I've realized in my life, like my parents always taught me just to be nice and to be kind. Like that's like a universal rule. But like, dude, there have been plenty of times where I've just gotten free stuff from like restaurants. Like a good example is like this pho place. Like it was so random. It was like during the lockdown. I like showed up at this pho place and I was just like super nice to the people. I could tell like the people in front of me were like rude and stuff. And straight up the owner just was like, don't pay us. Like we just want like just eat.
Wow. Yeah. And now you probably go back there.
Yeah.
And you're like, I love this place.
To.
Oh yeah, well, but then you recommend them to everybody. Yeah, it's just little tiny kind gestures. Yeah. Even if it's like sometimes I go to foreign countries and I'm overseas somewhere, and you just like somebody just comes up to you on the street and they're like, hey, like thanks for coming to my country, like this and that, and then all of a sudden it just totally changes your perspective on a place that you're at.
Yeah. I want to talk about a funny story. When I first met Nate, this was in DC in my area, and I was like, when I was going out, remember when I tried to jump the cone, bro?
You did jump a cone.
I almost broke my back.
Nobody really knew who you were. No offense,
yeah.
but
dude, I was a loser.
But nobody really knew. Like it was like Graham and all these other guys. Everybody kind of knew each other. And then there was just this Korean guy who showed up, and we're like, who is this? He's like running around with the camera sticking in people's faces, like everywhere he goes. Yeah. And then you tried to hurdle a cone. It was one of those mega cones.
Yeah, man.
In DC.
Bro, I just had like good vibes. Like I was vibing with y'all. Like we were having a good time in DC. Like I knew the area because that's where I grew up, and it's like I saw this traffic cone. It wasn't one of those like dingy little traffic cones that you see at a regular school bus. This was like the mega cones on a highway.
Yeah, the highway cones.
So I saw that, and like I'm not like 6'10" like Nate. So like this cone like was like it was like pretty high for me. First, dude, I was drinking too that night because I was just having fun, and yeah, man, when I tried to hop that thing, it was bad. Did you see me? Like,
yes, I watched it happen.
Oh yeah, so they were like behind me. I ran just to do it. I don't know why. So stupid. And I hopped it, but it clipped like my foot like on the top of the cone, so my body went horizontal in the air, and I just smacked on the freaking thing, bro. It hurt so bad, and like I thought it shattered my spine. It was the dumbest thing I ever did. And then like the next 2-3 days we were like all still going out, and I was like hurting. I couldn't get out of bed, but I was like for the networking, I need to go see my friends.
That was some great networking though, and we already mentioned this earlier, but FinCon was just so much fun, wasn't it? Because it's like your people, like
it was.
Because so almost in sort of real life, you don't really like everybody's different, and maybe in your hometown you might have like a couple people who are similar.
Yeah.
But then imagine you get everybody just like
this
you.
This was like the
congregate.
ultimate mastermind ever.
Yeah.
Like that's when I first discovered Dumb Money. Like, dude, I don't even think I was allowed to be in that bar either, but I just showed up in there. That's when I met Graham. This is a funny story too. I kind of want to say this, but I think Graham low-key I didn't leave the best impression when I first met him because you know, I had a couple drinks in me, and like when that happens, like I'm very like extroverted, I'm like very touchy, so you know, Graham was like chilling, and I was like, "Yo, Graham," and like I just grabbed him and like brought him in here, and I think Graham, I don't think he drinks either, so he was like already kind of uncomfortable in that situation. Yeah, so I definitely sketched him out a little because I was like, you know who I am, and I think he lied to me because there was no chance. And he was like, yeah, thumbnail guy. That's what he said. He was like, thumbnail guy, because he didn't know what else to say. Yeah, and I was like, yeah. But yeah, dude, and it was funny because I still had my arm around him for like 5 to 10 minutes. And to me, like, dude, my social cues were absolutely dropped that night. And
yeah, they were.
Dude.
I remember you were like, Graham, what's gonna take for you to follow me back on the
Oh,
gram?
did I say that?
Yeah,
shoot.
And he just didn't. He was like, man, I don't know.
Oh shoot, I didn't. Yeah, that's so cringy, man. I wish I could go back in time and redo some of that. But yeah, I remember like he couldn't figure out a way for me to get my arm around him, and I didn't know. And I realized it's like the next morning, but he was just like, yeah, it's getting hot in here, so I'm gonna have to take my bomber jacket off. And I was just like, like yeah, but yeah, man. Other than that night, I think like networking was a success.
Yeah,
like, meeting people.
Then we went down to Mexico.
Oh my gosh, Mexico was something else, man. Yeah, that was like all before the lockdown, before COVID.
January, yeah.
Yeah, that was a great time. It was my first time really like traveling alone. I think that was my first time traveling alone in my life.
Really?
Yeah, man. I've always traveled with people before.
But you didn't really travel alone because you met all of us down there.
But the process of me going to the airport by myself, like I had anxiety. I was like, oh,
really?
By myself? Yeah, dude. And I know I'm like not a little girl about it, but I always just, I travel in like packs, bro, like a wolf pack, like clusters.
Yeah. I don't know. It's fun traveling alone, but when you got to the airport or when you landed in Cancun, you had to like hop in the taxi and they try to swindle you so hard.
Dude,
they'll like size you up and be like, yeah, it'll be $70 to go like 3 miles down the road, and then you have to haggle.
I knew this was all gonna happen, so previous to us like actually showing up and like trying to do all that, I just like had Marriott send me a private bus, and
really?
Yeah, they sent you like a private thing, so you don't have to worry about all that. They had your name on like a little thing.
How much was that?
It was.
Oh, you had somebody holding a sign?
Yeah. It was like so $30-$40, bro.
Really?
Yeah.
We got scammed. They're trying to scam us, like Ryan Scrivener and I, because we took the same flight in, and they were like, they would want to charge $70 for like, it was literally a few miles down the road. And Ryan's like, all right.
Yeah.
I was like, no, wait a minute. No.
Ryan doesn't barter. He just, he'll go with the first offer.
I was like, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. No. Yeah. And then I think we got down to 30, but it was something like crazy. But
well, before you guys pulled up, I was the first one at the hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Marco pulled up next, but Marco like didn't eat or something that day, so he was like super like hangry, and I was like, so what's up? What you trying to do? And he's like, we gotta get food. And I was like, oh, really? Yeah, like we can get food. Like I'm down. Like I'm just editing. But he was like, yeah, man. It's like the first time I met him. He was so angry.
Well, that's the first time you met. No, you met him at FinCon, I think.
Dude, FinCon, we didn't really like speak like that. Like, and
really?
like that was like the first time I was like one-on-one with Marco.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like we were always in groups, and in FinCon, like I think that's when I was just like, yeah, like I was just having fun too. So I didn't really like know Marco that well. So that was the first time. So I kept mispronouncing his name.
Oh no.
I kept saying Marcos because I don't know why. I always thought it was Marcos.
Well, I thought it was a joke when you would say that.
No, I was serious.
Oh, that was serious? I thought you were joking.
Anyways, Marco's doing well with his whiteboard finance stuff. Yeah. And car dealerships probably don't like him because it's viral videos.
They don't like him because he saves you a lot of money with cars. So if you're buying a car, look up whiteboard finance. He's got some good ones on there.
Yeah.
Like I think it was how car dealerships rip you off, and then the thumbnails was car stealerships.
Yeah, dude. It has like 4 or 7 million views.
Yeah, I thought it was like 7 million.
Yeah, 7.
Something crazy.
I think it's 7. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, but so we might as well wrap this up here. But I have one question I'm gonna have to ask you. Would you rather fight 1 Scribner or 100 baby Scribners?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Because I saw you commented on Ryan's hair the other day, and you said he looks like a baby that got hit with the ray gun.
Ryan.
don't know how he feels
Ryan,
about that.
don't kill me if you see this. Ryan had made a video, and I don't know what was up with his hair, but it was kind of like
We'll have to put it here.
It had like a baby thing going on, so we were all watching it in his living room, and I'm like, yeah, Ryan, you look like a baby in this. You look like you got hit with a ray gun, and you turned into a baby version of yourself. And I don't know what it was, but that was just like the joke of the night last night. Yeah, dude, I'd definitely fight like 100 baby Scribners, man.
Yeah, like
bro.
just toddlers. I mean, like we're talking like week old.
Yeah, dude, like I could punt them around like a soccer ball. Like I really don't mind doing that at all if it's like, like for a good cause or something.
For a good cause. Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll kick them like dude, I grew up playing soccer a little bit in elementary school. Like, yeah, like I could kick a ball. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thanks for hopping on the show here.
Yeah, thanks, Nate. It was great meeting you today.
Yeah, it was nice talking. Good meeting you for the first time today as well.
It's crazy.
We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll have to go on a trip sometime, and maybe we'll vlog it as well.
Yeah,
Yeah. But guys, if you want to follow Brian, go check out his YouTube channel, just Brian Jung, right? And
Yes, sir.
And then on Instagram, we got to get him to 10,000 followers on there. He's almost there. So
Please get me there.
I'll link to him down below for all of his socials. If you want to slide into the DMs or whatever you want to do with this guy, feel free. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys.